Joong Ki, Shin Hye, Lee Min-ho. If you're a Korean drama geek, you have probably heard of their names. These actors and actresses are so familiar with the audience by now that it's safe to assume that all of their works must be super successful, right? Well, unfortunately, that's just not the case, as all the works on this list still fail to capture the Korean audience, despite having overwhelmingly famous casts. Curious? Let's start with a recent drama. Number 1. Sisyphus, the Myth. Produced for the 10th anniversary of the broadcasting station TBC, Sisyphus aroused high expectations with its massive budget and hugely popular cast, with leading characters played by Shin Hye and Jo Sung-woo. Alongside an innovative plot of time traveling, everyone thought that Sisyphus would be a surefire success. However, TBC's take on science fiction did not fare well this time, as Sisyphus started with a 5.6% viewership rating that constantly dropped and eventually reached as low as 3%. So, what had gone wrong?
Why?
Apparently, the screenwriter was a bit too ambitious and tried to force way too many elements into the plot. After all, it's hard to follow when there are quantum physics, time theories, a love line, and at least 2 evil organizations stuffed within a single Korean drama. Characters in this series are also not exactly likable at first sight, so it kinda takes time before we can actually root for them. And to put the final nail in the coffin, there are some terribly shitty special effects that look more at home in a Zoom class session than in a high-budget Korean drama. It's safe to say that while Sisyphus did redeem itself in the latter half, it was too late to capture the audience by then. Number 2. Doom at Your Service. Another recent drama that makes the list is Doom at Your Service, which follows the love story between a destruction god and a miserable human, played by the famous Park Bo-young and So In-guk. The series boasts quality acting and chemistry, along with an all-star lineup for its original soundtrack, which consists of Baekhyun, Gummy, Davichi, and K-pop group TXT. Needless to say, Doom at Your Service was expected to top its airing time slot on Monday and Tuesday evenings. However, despite all the hype and a promising plot, the series started with a rating as low as 4%, which dropped to 2.5% in later episodes. What exactly led to this disappointing performance? Well, to start with, Doom at Your Service is introduced as a fantasy series that leans towards romance comedy, and it sure did the job well in early episodes. The characters were likable, somewhat hilarious, and the audience expected them to be happy as the series progressed. But things soon went downhill as the plot became overly dramatic. And that's not exactly what the audience would look for on a stressful Monday night.
운명은 누구에게나 가혹하지. 이게 내 세상이야.
That's not to say Doom at Your Service is a bad series by any means, but perhaps it will do better in a different time slot. Better luck next time. Number 3. Moon Lovers. Before you argue that Moon Lovers never flopped, let us first make this clear. Yes, the series is a huge sensation on international grounds, but it did not do so well in its home country upon screening. With an all-star cast ranging from famous K-pop idols like IU and EXO's Baekhyun, to quality actors like Lee Joong Ki and Nam Joo-hyuk, one would expect nothing but a massive hit, preferably with sky-high viewership ratings. This is why the series' average rating of 7.6% was just pure disappointing, especially when there are episodes where the ratings drop to just above 5%. With brilliant characters, acting, and a heart-wrenching storyline, we can't really say any bad thing about this drama. So what exactly prompted its failure? Well, in the end, it all boils down to bad timing.
Oh no!
The series was aired on Monday and Tuesday evenings, around August of 2016, and this time slot turned out to be less than ideal. In the same airtime was Love in the Moonlight, a historical drama that features Park Bo-gum and Kim Yoo-jung. This rival series introduces a much lighter and happy story, which in hindsight might have been a better way for the audience to start the week. Park Bo-gum's dancing video on the drama set also went viral, thus attracting most viewers during the time slot, with ratings reaching as high as 22%. Love in the Moonlight had completely squashed Moon Lovers in South Korea. A huge pity for such a good drama. Number 4. The King, Eternal Monarch. After Boys Over Flower, City Hunter, The Heirs, and so on, it seemed that having Lee Min-ho on the set would guarantee enormous success. However, this turned out to be untrue when The King, Eternal Monarch was aired, and even Kim Un-suk, the screenwriter behind major hits like Descendants of the Sun and Goblin, couldn't save this drama from failure. The King, Eternal Monarch, tries to be out of the box when it tackles parallel worlds, a topic rarely touched in Korean drama land. However, its execution soon fell short as some details are just too lengthy, the plot way too confusing, the product placements an eyesore.
고구마인 김치죠.
부총님도 이 조합 압니까? 난 노상궁이 노상 먹여서. 맛있게 잘 익었네.
And the chemistry between the leads sometimes feels forced.
Do lovers look like this?
To add to this hot mess, the series was also accused of copying Japanese architecture and warship designs, an event that many netizens considered an insult to Korean culture. Initially spotting a viewership rating as high as 11%, The King, Eternal Monarch eventually lost its hype, and only managed to attract around 5% of TV viewers as it ended. This proves that you can't mask a mess with beautiful actors, even if they are as brilliant as Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun. Number 5. Arthadol Chronicles. When it comes to big budgets and famous actors, we can't go without mentioning Arthadol Chronicles. The series spent an astronomical amount of production fee, and introduced a lineup full of both famous drama actors and movie stars, including Joong Ki, Kim Ji-won, and Jang Dong-gun. Arthadol Chronicles was an extremely ambitious project. It was the first Korean ancient fantasy drama, and took place in an era never tackled before on the screen. Even the runtime was different compared to other productions, with 18 episodes divided into 3 parts, instead of a single season like other series. However, despite the famous cast, intricate plot, and high investment, the series tanked hard in South Korea, with an average rating of just above 6.5%. Compared to expectations, this can be called a complete disappointment, and netizens believe that there are many reasons. First of all, seeing that Arthadol Chronicles was something never before seen on the Korean screen, it took a long time to introduce the settings and characters, and by then, a large number of viewers already lost interest. Then, before it was set in ancient Korea, the characters did not look traditionally beautiful, but rather wild and unfamiliar. But the most major reason is that the series was too new. Arthadol Chronicles was not at all the typical Korean drama, and perhaps was released too ahead of its time. Even famous actors have their bad days, and this list has surely proven that. What about you? Do you know any other Korean dramas that failed despite a famous cast? Feel free to comment down below. And if you want more videos like this, like, share, and subscribe to bbalidrama. We'll come back soon. See ya!